There comes a time on your spiritual journey when you're fully and completely, utterly alone. You may have just come out of a relationship because you realize that you're on this journey and the other person is not growing, is not moving in that direction. Or you may have already been alone, and you were looking for a relationship, but now that you are on this journey, you realize that you have to be alone. It's a very much a solo journey. It's for working with your shadow self. And there's just so much of the shadow work that you need to do. There's so much that comes up that you simply have to be alone. And a lot of people call this the dark night of the soul. But there is a period after you have gone through working on your traumas, working with your shadow self for a while, meditating and really resolving majority of the triggers that you had before. There comes a time after when you have basically recalibrated your sense and your views on life and love. And you realize that a lot of people in this world are still living in a 3D consciousness, and they are not ready to be met at their deepest and truest self. And the reason for that is because they haven't yet reached their truest and deepest self. Embodied love is really knowing what's in your heart and speaking and acting from that place, from your heart space, with love and kindness. And it really permeates your entire being and a sense of self. And you begin to treat yourself and everyone else with that love and kindness. So it's not truly a blind love either, because when you're blindly in love, you have rose-colored glasses on you. In this, when after your awakening, you actually see people for who they are very quickly, and you also can sense where they are on their journey, on their spiritual journey, and how awakened and how conscious they are. So it is quite possible that a part or most of your longing and a desire for partnership is gone, that you like to be alone. And if you are looking for a relationship, you're not looking for a relationship from the sense of, which most relationships are or were for you, with the sense of longing and desire and desperation to find someone, to find your twin flame, to find this one person in your life, or to not be alone, or to just have someone. You're no longer there, okay? You have awakened the love within you, and you're seeking to be met at the same level with someone who has awakened the love within them, and then you meet at the level of consciousness where you both can understand each other and can give love from this place of embodied love. Okay? So for me, my last narcissist, which if you have been following my channel, you'll know what I'm talking about, he has been the catalyst for my deep dive into spiritual awakening journey. I have already been on a spiritual awakening journey for quite a few years, and he basically just pushed me into further into it. So I have been on a spiritual journey for 8 years now, and most of those 8 years I was alone on the journey, and I had I had just been processing a lot and just been really, really deep diving into it and working with my shadow self, healing my childhood traumas, my generational traumas, ancestral traumas, and past life traumas. And there comes a point when, you are ready for love. Your heart chakra is open, your heart is open, but now you have boundaries. You have hardcore boundaries. And recently I went on a date with someone who is a lovely soul, very compassionate and kind, very smart. We had a great conversation, but very early on in our conversation, I picked up on where he's at in terms of how conscious he was. And I noticed that he's still living in a 3D consciousness, and he still has not even scraped the surface on his traumas from the past, and he's very much in denial about a lot of what has happened to him in the past, and his family traumas and guilt and shame that have come through the conversation. So when you have gone through the spiritual awakening journey for a while, and your heart is now open, you're very much aligned, like your heart and your consciousness and your wisdom and your intuition are very much in alignment. And although your heart is very open, you're very much acutely aware and can very quickly pick up on people's unhealed traumas, unresolved traumas. They come in a conversation, and you can pick up quickly when someone has just not worked on themselves and have not been really resolving their traumas from the past. So you realize very early on in the process, when you meet someone, what that relationship is going to look like. In this sense, on the date where I was on, I realized early on that I would be stepping into my healing self in this relationship, meaning that before, when I was recycling my toxic relationships, before my awakening, I was always stepping into my healing space, my healer space, my healer self. And I looked at those people as someone who, through healing them, I would heal a relationship with my father. And all of this realization came through my spiritual awakening process. So the repetition of these relationships is not going to happen for me, because that's not what I'm looking for anymore. So you have to ask yourself, what is it that I want from this relationship? Do I want to be an anchor for someone, my partner, so that I can help them heal and help them bring their truest and most authentic, fulfilled self? And of course, they have to be willing to want that, and it depends on how big their ego is, because in order to go through spiritual awakening, you have to go through the ego death. And are they willing to do so? And if that's not what you want, which for me that's not what I want, then you have to be honest with yourself and realize, what is it that you want? Okay. So it's interesting because when we heal, and of course, you're never fully healed, there is always something that you can be working on. But when we heal, our views and our beliefs systems change about life and love. And so it comes down to, when you are looking for a partner, it comes down to how different your views and your belief systems on life and love are right now. Okay? Because if they're still living from their ego self, their belief systems are completely different than yours. And that's really the essence of it. It is when you're living from your heart space, when you have fully embodied love and kindness, and after you have gone through healing all of your traumas and your from your current life or your past lives, you are coming at you're showing up for the relationship with another human being differently, very differently. And lastly, what I want to say is, because if you are in the alignment with your highest, truest self, in your heart space, you know, you just are acutely aware when you meet someone, where they are in their journey and what that relationship is going to look like. Is it going to be you working with them to help them heal, or is it going to be a partnership of two souls, two human beings coming together to, live a fulfilled life? So that's all I have for today. I hope this is helpful to you. I'd love to know about you, and leave me in a comment section something about your life and your journey, and I'll see you soon.